Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. Welcome to today's Crypto Blast, where myself and the awesome Cam O'Connor from Institutional File will be giving a roundup of the latest pricing flows and market moving news in crypto markets with a kind of a more of a view on the institutional side rather than the Fartcoins side. Although Fartcoin does surprisingly get a lot of mentions in the show, which I'll leave it at that. But anyway, before we get underway, I will get the legals done. So as usual, nothing discussed on this space session constitutes trading or investment advice or infers any kind of endorsement by PIQ, Institutional Fi, myself Ryan Paisley, or indeed that of Cam O'Connor. Cam, how are you?
I'm doing very well, Ryan. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm very good. Thank you for asking. It's nice and hot. It's not it's not as hot as it has been, which is good because we Brits don't really do well in the heat in our houses, unfortunately. But yeah, all good. But enough about the weather. How about you and what's going on in crypto?
Yeah, doing very well, thank you. Yeah, well, let's get into what's been happening over the last couple of days, and we'll do some major highlights from this week, and also a little
Perfect.
recap as to what's going to happen next week, because there's quite a
Perfect.
lot of events taking place. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of updates coming for sure. But we'll crack on with the market update. So since Tuesday's low of $103,400 until this morning, Bitcoin traded within a very tight 2% range with
Oof.
low volume came high volatility as crypto perp futures saw heavy liquidations as traders, and I'm not going to call them traders, I'm going to call them gamblers with 100x leverage, try to use that low volume to their advantage. This very much failed with around $600 million in liquidations through futures perps alone over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin has managed to break out of this consolidation that's happened over the last 2 days. And this morning we saw BTC reach $106,560. Whether that's an indication of what is going to happen today in the markets, I don't know, but it's since reclaimed a little bit of that move and moved slightly lower. Ethereum is also currently following Bitcoin closely, albeit with a wider range, but that's nothing out of expectation for the reduction in market cap that it has against BTC. On a positive note for the asset, its dominance in the crypto sector has been quite well received over the last week or so. ETH BTC, which is the pair itself, managed to hold its May run and has so far maintained its move up with its dominance versus Bitcoin for over 30 days. And obviously this is after a massive multi-year trend down. It may be that we're starting to see some love come in on the side of Ethereum. Now, this could potentially be linked to this. We're starting to see a lot more corporations adding ETH to their treasuries.
Ah.
Now, could we continue to see this gain momentum? I think we do. And then there's a real catalyst there for Ethereum dominance, rising even further to where it is against BTC, and specifically as well for the rest of the crypto sector. But as we're going to get on in about 2 minutes time, there's some competition in treasury assets, digital assets. So we'll get into that in a moment. Moving down the market cap list, Solana's trading $141, XRP at $2.17. BNB trading at $647. Now, there's a new contender to the top 10 in terms of market cap, and that is Tron with the ticker TRX. Managed to flip Doge yesterday and gain the number 8 spot in market cap. So if we jump onto some news that's happened over the last 24 hours, the Arizona Senate has passed House Bill 2324, which proposes creating a Bitcoin and digital asset reserve fund to manage cryptocurrencies seized through criminal forfeiture. The bill passed with a very narrow 16 to 14 votes and now heads to the House for further consideration. If approved, the fund overseen by the state treasurer would handle the storage, the sale and retention of these assets, updating Arizona's forfeiture laws to include digital assets. On another news, Lion Group Holdings, which trades under the Nasdaq under the ticker LGHL, a Singapore-based financial services and trading platform, announced it secured a $600 million facility from ATW Partners to launch a crypto treasury initiative. Right. But what asset have they chosen?
Go on.
Hype, which is the hyperliquid exchange. where you start to see people trading with like 200, 250, 300x leverage and no KYC is required.
Ah,
Um,
okay. So
yeah,
some quite a significant number of red flags here then.
I'm seeing just a couple of red flags, and the Treasury, $600 million worth is incredible. They are also going to include Solana and Sui tokens, but they're not going to make up as big of a percentage as Hype does in the Treasury. If you're interested, who's going to custody this? It's going to be BitGo, which is a trusted company. So let's see how this one folds into the future, but I'm not sure that I would necessarily approve of Hype being used as a treasury asset,
No,
especially
that
when
is a
they
bit
don't
odd.
have Bitcoin on there, at least.
No, exactly. Yeah,
Move,
that's
yeah,
yeah. My spider sense is tingling on this one.
yeah, I know. There seems like there could be something under the surface that we're not seeing. So moving on, Iran's central bank limits operating hours for domestic crypto exchanges after a $100 million Novatex attack. This was claimed by a pro-Israel group. I will just leave that there, but Iran having to take defensive measures from a cyber security measure to protect their funds from being stolen out of their own domestic exchanges there. On June 18th, the Ohio House of Representatives passed a House Bill 116, the Ohio Blockchain Basis Act. It was voted with 68 to 26, advancing to the Senate. The bill exempts cryptocurrency transactions under $200 from state capital gain taxes. So, a really impressive bill here that they're looking to pass. So it's aiming to simplify small transactions like buying a coffee or tipping. And it also protects crypto users' rights, including self-custody via hardware or software wallets, shields mining and staking operations from being classified as securities or money transmission activities. So that is Ohio coming in with a very pro-crypto bill there that they're trying to push and has been pushed to the Senate. There's an interesting topic of conversation here. Binance founder CZ urges crypto platforms to add a will function to help users pass on assets after death. And I've got obviously sadly been around for a while in digital assets, and I've come across this situation where friends have passed away with significant
Yeah,
holdings of digital assets, hidden their keys, and that's it. You take the risk of hacking the wallet, but you could also lose the funds by doing so. So yeah, interesting topic of conversation coming out from CZ, basically saying for the exchanges to take on this responsibility. So
I, and you know what? I think it's a good idea. I think there needs to be some kind of way for this to be passed down or passed across or whatever, because there's a lot of people that have made a lot of money, a lot of young people that have made a lot of money on crypto. Well, not just young people, but any people. And there's families and lives that have been built on these funds. So if all of a sudden the only person in your household with the ability to access it, if all of a sudden they're no longer around, how are you left? So I think, it's something that people should always bear in mind.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, got a few stories of, unfortunately regarding this
Oh,
topic. So it would be something that I would encourage. Yeah, there are ways around it. So maybe we, can put together a nice little piece on that
that
and
sounds like
article
an
and pop that out.
institutional it sounds like an institutional article in the making.
It does indeed. So moving on, Crypto.com and Durbit now accept BlackRock's $2.9 billion bill. I wish they'd have just changed a couple of letters around to build tokenized money market fund. Instead of shiddle, sounds a bit weak. Um, but yeah, their tokenized money market fund as collateral for loans. So Crypto.com and Durbit, they're putting confidence in BlackRock's, MMS, Solana Policy Institute, the SPI, alongside Phantom and Superstate and Orca, submitted legal frameworks to the SEC under Project Open to enable the issuance and trading of tokenized securities such as stocks, bonds, and funds on public blockchains like Solana. Interesting, Ryan, that you're having this similar thought just a few weeks ago, eh?
Yeah,
Um,
no, exactly.
So the proposal seeks regulatory exemptions for non-custodial autonomous blockchain protocols, arguing that they should not be classified as exchanges, brokers, or clearing houses. It emphasised benefits like obviously 24/7 trading, instant settlement, lower costs, while maintaining KYC and AML compliances. The 18-month pilot initially proposed to start on April the 30th, aim to modernize capital markets with superstate issuing securities and Oracle facilitating trading. This week, we saw the first XRP ETF launch in Canada on the Toronto Stock Exchange. An article coming from Reuters, 3 top Bitcoin mining rig makers, Bitmain, Canaan, and MicroBT, moved production to US aim amid Trump tariff wars. I don't know why it says wars in there still. I'm pretty sure everybody knows it's a done deal
Yeah.
of some sort. Thailand approves tax exemptions on crypto profits to boost its digital asset market. And lastly, there are quite a few major blockchain conferences taking place over the next 7 days. We have Permissionless, which is over in France, Istanbul Blockchain Week, and the Ethereum Community Conference. So no doubt there's going to be lots of announcement coming out regarding blockchain space. And as always, I'm going to do my very best to keep you up to speed with the very latest developments that have been happening out of those conferences. But other than that, that is it from me. It's quite a warm Friday, as you mentioned earlier at the beginning of the spaces. So I'm sure a nice weekend is going to be had.
Exactly that. I think a pint of cider is calling me. Cam, thank you so much as always for giving us the rundown. Listeners, thank you as always, especially all of you that play it back on the replay when we put it up, which pretty much is all of you. But anyone that's listening live, I really do appreciate you. And so does Cam. As Cam said, whatever you're doing, stay safe, keep it tight, have a wonderful weekend. And yeah, we'll see you all on Monday. Much love.
See you then.